Hey, I'm Ben Silverio.
I'm Jordan Desjardins.
And I'm Ansel Burch.
And it's
time to party. We are not doctors. We don't give medical advice. Please drink responsibly. Today's episode was recorded on May 25th, 2026. Welcome back, party people. This is producer Ansel coming to you from the future relative to the original recording date. I come to you with the wonderful information that Jordan Desjardins used his Baja Blast headphones to record today's episode, and while they were extreme, they were also lacking in fidelity. We thank you for your patience. We've done our best to clean everything up, but there will be a few little spots where everything isn't quite as extreme as they were promised, which is pretty on brand for Baja Blast, actually. Anyway, it's time to party.
Yes, danger, danger, time to party. We're about to get lost in space. Yes, that's right. This month on the podcast, we were talking about the, I guess, remake or adaptation of the old school TV show Lost in Space. This movie comes from 1998. If you don't know what we're talking about, this is what IMDb says about it. The Robinson family was going into space to fight for a chance for humanity. Now they're fighting to live long enough to find a new way home. Well, if you're wondering who brought us this gem from the bargain bin, that would be my good friend, Jordan Desjardins. How are you, my friend?
I am fantastic because I just got to watch one of my all-time favorite movies to talk about it tonight, so it's pretty exciting.
Yeah.
It's one of those movies where it is bad in all the right ways, and it just scratches every itch that I have when it comes to wanting to watch something entertaining. Like, it's a comfort movie. It came out when I was 10, and I vividly remember going to see this in the theater as like a lifetime canon event had to happen.
Hell yeah.
And I think it really defined a lot of my taste in terrible movies.
Man, that tracks.
Having good taste in terrible movies is important.
It is.
I agree. Now, before we jump into it with Jordan, I want to remind you all how we do things here at Time to Party. Since, the format is new-ish, and I'm sure you may need a refresher. So first, we come at you with a review of the movie or TV show or whatever we're talking about. Second, we have some party favors for y'all. That is our drinking and smoking game and our edutainment, where you might just learn something on the lazy river of a shallow dive that we go on. And finally, episode 3 is the conversation pit, where we get to know our guest a little bit more, dive into a few things deeper than just that shallow dive, I guess. In other words, a party, right? That's what a party is,
Yeah.
isn't it?
I do like to party.
Hell yeah. Oh my
You
God.
get your party favors.
Ansel, the things that we could tell you from parties at Jordan's are pretty insane.
Yeah, no. I am the person who had the party house consistently for a long time throughout most of my life. I think I've only stopped because I had a kid at this point, and I'm too tired to have parties anymore, so now I just go other places.
It comes for us all.
Yeah, no, it's literally just I don't want to deal with cleaning. That's entirely it. After that, it's too much work. But I do love a good party, and when Ben asked me to join Time to Party for a special episode, I thought I kind of had to do that.
Hell yeah.
Well, we are so thrilled to have you. I'm very excited to hear your thoughts and to hear your feelings on this being your favorite movie or a favorite movie.
I wouldn't go as far as to say it is my favorite movie. But it is definitely one of my favorite movies. I don't know if I'd even say it cracks the top 10, but it's got a special place in my heart that a lot of movies don't get.
I was not prepared for that.
Oh yeah, no, I love it. It came out at the exact right sweet spot for me because I was 10 years old when this hit theaters. I think I went. It was one of the few movies I got to go see with just my dad, so it made a mark on I had Guy Day with my dad and got to go see this movie in theaters, and then it was one of 2 VHS tapes that I ever burned through all the way just because I watch it constantly. It was that and Jurassic Park. So it's
wow.
Yeah, no, I probably watched this movie more than 90% of the populace. because it's at least once annually for me, probably more.
I can
Okay.
say with confidence
Okay.
that you've probably watched it more than Gary Oldman.
Yeah, I don't think he's ever rewatched it.
Doubtful.
Wouldn't be surprised.
Now,
It's no Fifth Element, that's for sure.
I mean, so few things are.
Yeah.
So when you mentioned that you wanted to talk about Lost in Space, I tried to think because I knew for a fact that I saw this movie. I was sure that I've seen this movie before. Mostly
Yeah.
because I remember wanting the toys. But while
Everyone
watching
wanted.
it, they were cool toys.
Mhm.
But while watching it, I didn't recall a single thing that happened in this movie.
Oh yeah, no, it's very much one of those movies where you're watching it and it's happening, and it certainly is a movie that you watched. But there's not a lot of eventful moments. There's a bunch of cool set pieces and a bunch of stuff that looks like a really neat take on things other movies have done better. But like, there are definitely just, I think the biggest thing that this movie, the big takeaway for me is that this, and I think what it speaks to me as a person particularly, this movie is one of the most toyetic movies that ever has been made.
Sure.
The whole thing is built around the idea that New Line saw this as what there could be their Star Trek. So when they made this movie, they planned it as the kickoff point for a whole new franchise they were going to launch. So it wasn't just going to be a summer blockbuster. If it did well, which it started to, and then it immediately stopped. If it had done well, they were planning. They had everyone signed for a 3-picture deal. They were planning a live-action TV show. They were planning an animated TV show for kids. They were planning tie-in novels. They had a huge toy line planned for the whole thing. They wanted this to be their money-making Star Trek type property where they could churn out a bunch of different stuff as tie-ins to it. And the movie came. It had a budget of like $80 million, and in the global box office, it only brought in a very pale amount. It only made $136 million worldwide, but it did like really. It had a really big opening weekend, so much so that it was nicknamed the Iceberg because it was the movie that finally knocked Titanic out of the #1 box office spot after 15 weeks in a row.
Oh my god!
Oh really?
Yeah.
Oh, I didn't know that.
It had a great launch, and then the drop off was so steep that it just didn't make more money. Like it pretty much everyone saw it that first week, and then everyone moved on with their lives. And I just thought that was such an interesting thing. Like the people showed up for it, and they were really into it, but they didn't keep showing up for it. And I'm sure the video sales for home were great, but I mean, at the end of the day, it's a popcorn movie. It's never meant to be more than what it is. The spectacle is really there. You can see all the money went into the sets and the special effects, and it looks, for its time, it looks fantastic. I will say the special effects, while some of them are very aged, many of them hold up way better than you'd anticipate a movie from 1998 looking. Like I know there's definitely some things that are very, very dodgy and that look like absolute trash, but a lot of it holds up way better than I expected it to. And like I know a lot of it is, I'm one of those nerds who deep dives into everything, so I looked into this so much more. They built full scale sets for almost everything. They didn't want to do everything on blue screen, so most of the sets in this movie were real, and even most of they did a mix of animatronics and CGI for a lot of the things. Like the robot, there's even a few shots of the alien Blarp that are a puppet, even though because it looks like the most CGI thing I've ever seen.
Yeah,
it looks like the thing that grew up to be Jar Jar Binks, and it's just it is a testament to how much effort they put into making this awful movie that it looks as good as it does, I think.
And I think a lot of that has to do with the amount of practical stuff that's in there, because it shows. You can tell that like those walls are really there. The suits are all practical. The one standout being Matt LeBlanc's metal visor situation.
I will tell you right now, that thing is, I wrote like a whole note about it, but that fucking helmet is still to this day the coolest thing ever put to cinema. Point blank. I'm watching this movie after almost 30 years. It'll be 30 years in 2 years, about 2 years. So we're just shy of 30 years.
Mm-hmm.
It's been enough that this movie's been through college and then grad school, so it's been around a while. I still get tingles every time that scene hits and that helmet pops on, and he's clicking together. He has still one of the other things. It's the technology in this movie is so cool. Like he has a pistol that he's got attachments for that turn it into the full scale rifle, which is amazing looking. But
Genius.
then that fucking helmet is just chef's kiss. There's nothing cooler than that.
Yeah.
I think the thing that gets me with that is that was done using a composite of practical effects. So essentially they pieced it in like it was CG, but essentially it's just two different shots where they just put it all in one piece at a time, and then plugged it in there. So it worked out way cooler than I ever expected it to. It was before Iron Man. I was Iron Man.
Yeah. I mean, it's 10 years prior to Iron Man, and you can see the DNA in the way that Iron Man's helmet comes together.
Yeah. There's a lot of technology.
Even more so, I'd say the later Iron Man stuff, where like you see the nano helmet that he gets.
Yeah.
I feel like that's when they finally approach the sort of like assembled on your head effect that we get with this.
Yeah, no, it's so good.
It's very good. It looks sturdy. It looks real. That's. I would say that's the counterpoint to Blarp.
Yeah, Blarp.
The monkey thing.
Yeah.
The monkey thing looks so god awful. I think we saw stuff like that on TV in 1998.
Yep.
And then you compare that to the helmet and some of the robot stuff. Even the time rift is a little chunky, but like way better than 1998 generally.
Yeah. Speaking of Blarp, I will say that like we saw the crappy little CG Blarp, but then another thing a lot of people don't know, because I'm just a giant nerd about everything. I dug deep and found out, actually fairly recently, as someone who loves this movie as much as I do, I only found out about this within the past year. There's actually a whole deleted sequence from this movie that involved an 8-foot tall adult Blarp from the future sequence that was a full-size built by Jim Henson Studios that they filmed and everything. But it just got cut. The whole thing got scrapped. But they spent all this money building. They had Jim Henson Studios make them a giant puppet for Blarp. And I've seen pictures of the thing. It looks like a giant gorilla. It's insane. But it's
that sounds cool.
So cool to think about. And it's one of the things where this movie is, the core of it is this about time travel, but it's not necessarily a movie about time travel, if that makes sense. Like it's more of a plot device than anything else.
I mean, I like that it is a story about fathers and sons and family.
Yeah.
Mostly fathers and sons. It's very central, the Dr. Robinson, Will Robinson situation.
Yeah.
And that's beautiful. It probably made it resonate that much more for you watching it with your dad back in 98. But yeah, I think there's something beautiful about time. Since we're talking about time travel as a media, I think there's something beautiful about what you can do with time travel when you have a familial relationship at the core of the story. Yeah. Because it does give you that chance to be like, what have I lost by either going back in time or forward in time? What do you lose when you lose that time in connection?
Yeah, or more in this story, it's more about what can I prevent or what can I gain or save, which I think the big plot point here is like he realizes how much, even just going into this bubble to try and find the stuff for the ship, he's lost time with his son. And he sees what happens to his son when he's not around. It's a lot more meaningful than you'd expect it to be, considering what it is. And it's hard to like even take that scene, that sequence, I guess, as seriously as it's meant to be, because I know it's, again, me being a giant nerd about everything. So a lot of people don't realize that's Jared Harris as adult Will Robinson before he's like a name, Jared Harris. And they didn't like his voice, so they dubbed him after the fact.
And is that why he sounded so weird?
It sounds so weird because they redubbed him after the fact, but they didn't dub every line. So they only, like, you can hear it's like a Frankenstein voice performance of him and some guy speaking for him, but with the words, the mouth doesn't even match up half the time. And it's just really weird to watch knowing some of this stuff. But again, I'm such a giant nerd about so much of this, and especially with movies that I end up loving like this, where I can't not find out as much as humanly possible about it. I live for trivia, and I live for weird niche 90s sci-fi.
Okay. Well, tell me then, in that same scene, when we get the don't make me wait a lifetime to hear you say it again, or however he phrases that.
Yeah.
There's another moment right after that where the line read is just so weird from William Hurt. And I'm curious, do you think that was also part of that dubbing situation?
I think a lot of the final act ended up redubbed because people were, from what I understand in test screenings, people weren't getting it. It just wasn't resonating with people. But I know.
I mean, they saved like half of the action of the movie for the last 8 minutes.
Yeah. I mean, they got their sequences mixed in. They started off with the bubble fighters, which were really cool, and then we never saw them again. Those existed strictly to sell toys, because they released 2 different versions of that thing as a toy that we saw for 3 minutes on screen. And then we got the big robot fight sequence to, save the ship. And then
got to do that
and everything, and then that's most of the thing. And then we get this lull of them just stranded on the planet, doing exactly the plot of the whole thing is Space Swiss Family Robinson. So it's, the action is there, but it's so delayed, I guess, because it's so few and far between. When it happens, it's great, but getting there is a slog sometimes. But I like that it gave us a lot of time for character moments.
Yeah, which is important.
Well, speaking of Hurt, like there were 2 line reads that I specifically wrote down. I love you, wife.
Oh God.
And I couldn't save them. And like they just seemed so robotic.
Same thing with Mimi Rogers. She watches them taking off from the planet as John is left behind, and she's like, "Goodbye, my love." Shrug. Like, she just of goodbyes, and it's just so mailed in, and but I think that part of that is the performances, but part of that is also in the writing. I think that John and Maureen are written that way very specifically because they're so logically based as a family unit. Like, you can see that Will is getting there, and Penny is completely avoiding it as much as humanly possible. She's very much trying to be her own person rather than part of the family throughout. Which fair. I mean, Penny's great. She is the angsty teen that we have to deal with. She predicted vlogging as a thing, which is kind of cool because I think that's the first movie I really remember seeing that in. Before, like, now, I mean, essentially she would like live for modern social media. She had the camera that she would do her video journals in for no one but herself, essentially, or just to leave that log behind. But I thought
that's true, because most science fiction properties only did audio.
Yeah, I thought it was really cool that they did. Like, she had her video camera bracelet thing that she would do her vlogs on, and I thought that was a like little neat thing that I never noticed it before this recent watch as something that, like, oh yeah, I guess she kind of predicted that. She's essentially precursor to TikTok and Instagram and all of that.
They were doing video logs in Star Trek at that point, but
they were more like log, more rather than like a little. It wasn't like Will Wheaton
wasn't casual
making personal. A captain's log or a video call is one thing, but like having a teenager run around with like essentially a camera on her wrist, just spitting out rant. She had essentially self-contained Twitter, and it was
Yeah.
It was interesting, and I thought that was really cool to see, considering that's something that's such a common thing now. But that happened in a movie going on 30 years ago almost. So I
Yeah.
think that was,
But also, what were Penny's qualifications to be on this mission? I mean, her sister's a doctor, her brother is a science prodigy, her parents are scientists, but they went through great lengths to portray her as just a
She
stereotypical
was
teenage
only
girl.
there because
So,
Dr. Robinson didn't want to leave his family behind again.
yeah, that was one of
He
his.
had made that big stipulation about my kids get to come.
Yep.
But it's like everyone served a purpose, as part of the crew.
She started trying to do some useful things on the ship, like taking inventory and trying to make sure things were organized and moved around and stuff. So she found her purpose, but ultimately she's just the admin staff of the ship, and that's unfortunate because she's a teenager, and I really do love the mindset of it's their last night on Earth. She's like, I'm going to the mall to spend 10 years worth of allowance. What are they going to do? Ground me? Of course, she's nothing to look forward to. She's a teenager that's going to spend the next decade of her life as a popsicle, and then wake up in another galaxy, essentially, waiting for them to build this hypergate to be able to connect back to Earth and bring the rest of humanity along. By the time she sees other people that aren't just there to build this gate, she's going to be an adult. And that's unfortunate. She's essentially told your life doesn't matter.
Yeah. And the only person she has to thirst after as a teenage girl is the guy who's
awkwardly hitting on her older sister in front of their dad.
Yeah.
Wild.
At the end of the day, give it 5-10 years. She's 13 to 15 in this, I think. I just figured that he'll do one and then eventually do the other when she's older. And I don't mean to be gross, but what? I'm serious. She's gonna. It's not even something that he's gonna do. It's that if this had continued onward, I wouldn't have been shocked to see that development as she gets older as a character, going after pursuing him, unless they introduce another love interest.
Yeah,
but also the Robinsons are famous enough that you should know in this culture who the family members are. So the Colonel should have known better.
I don't know. He only barely knew who John Robinson was.
Yeah, he even only knew him by reputation and because of his father, who was a war hero. And then just everything about Major John West was phenomenal. I just love the casting there. I'm still surprised to this day that Matt LeBlanc didn't become an action star following this, just because I know it tanked, and that probably canned all of his opportunities for that. But he was so much fun in this. He had the action star charisma that was needed to carry this movie in the way that he did, and he absolutely understood the assignment, I think.
Yeah.
I think out of the entire cast, he was the least egregious of.
And it's funny because
all of them.
It was originally given to Sean Patrick Flannery, but they decided he looked too much like John Hurt, so they didn't want to do it.
Oh, interesting.
He's got the same general build and the same hair color as John Hurt, so we need to cast someone who looks different. That's literally why he got the role.
That's so funny.
That's wild.
Wow.
Yeah, no, it's crazy. The best part of the movie.
LeBlanc is capable of doing some good work. Episodes is a great
He's
series.
fantastic. I feel like LeBlanc gets a lot of hate because he did Friends for however long, and everyone thinks he just phoned it in after that. But I remember in the 90s, he had a pretty steady career of middling movies. He had a middling success with the box office where he did, what was that? He did a baseball movie with a chimp, I think. And
That's right.
I remember he did stuff, and I liked him as an actor, and I was always bummed that he didn't become more of a thing, I guess, in Hollywood other than Friends. And he pretty much just was able to keep cashing those Friends checks for most of his life. He did Joey, which didn't do well. He did, isn't he on Top Gear or something now? Or he was? He's hosting. He's hosting a car show on TV, doing something with that. And Episodes was phenomenal. But I just always, I look at Lost in Space and I see him in his prime, and I just feel like, man, what a missed opportunity for him to do a lot of fun action movies, because he's got it. He's got the right charisma, And other than him and Heather Graham, everyone else, John Hurt is stiff as a board in this. Mimi Rogers, to be fair, didn't get anything to work with to develop a character around besides that she's
no. None of the women got fleshed out or featured in a meaningful way.
Okay, so I think Mimi Rogers got nothing. She was just told, "You're mom. That's your whole character. You are mom. You are there to look angry when dad messes up and when the kids do something wrong, and that is your whole bit. That's all you get." And then Judy at least got some stuff to do with Matt LeBlanc.
Heather Graham was the best of the women. For sure.
Hands down, Heather Graham was the best of the women. That's not even a question. And I say that as someone who absolutely got probably their first Hollywood crush was Lacey Chabert from this movie, because I was 10 when this came out and she was like 13. And this was like that point in life where I'm like, oh crap, what's that? So it's like, I mean, thankfully I'm like, she is great. She's a fun actress in everything now, but like then that was like my first introduction to her as an actress. And this is actually her first movie, because before this she'd only really been doing Party of Five, I think. And remember what else she did besides that. I know she did Party of Five. Everyone knows her now for Mean Girls and for the Hallmark Channel, which she effectively owns at this point.
She was on a soap opera before this. I want to say All My Children.
Done so much stuff.
Maybe
she has. She's done like 100 different Hallmark Channel Christmas movies. She is literally.
She's also done a lot of voiceover.
Oh yeah, she was the original Meg Griffin.
Yeah, she has.
But I love her generally. Like I like her character. I think she's fun. She's a stereotypical late '90s teen character. She's all about boys and the mall, and she's just sort of thrown into this situation where none of that's an option anymore. So I think it's interesting to see her as the real person, I guess. Like in a lot of ways, she's sort of like the real entry point for most people, because not everyone going to see this movie is going to be a scientist or a military guy. This is just the closest we have to an everyman, because she is just like that person who's thrust into this situation, whether she wants it or not.
Well, and we quite literally get her POV.
That's what
she's the only one journaling. Yeah, like she's our target.
That's exactly it. And then we have her, and then we've got the kid, Jack Johnson, playing Will Robinson, who is a genius child prodigy, but also didn't really get a whole lot of time to develop as a character outside of, the relationship with his father, which most of the really heavy lifting ended up going to Jared Harris for. So,
whose performance is actually really good in this. Like, he got so little, but he did.
So I will say they could have coached him a little bit more on interacting with the props, but that is a tiny nit to pick.
Yeah. And then the other thing that I love Jared Harris, and this is before he was famous, really. So this is like one of his earlier roles. But one of the things that actually kills me is knowing that originally, the original series star, what the hell is his name? Bill Mumy, I think. I'm probably butchering it.
Who was Will Robinson in the original
Will
series?
Robinson, Bill Mumy. He read the script, and when they were trying to get everyone to do cameos, he pitched playing adult Will Robinson because he was age appropriate for it at the time. And the fact that they said no and didn't go for it just guts me, because that would have been such
wasted opportunity
connection and a good way to bridge everything. Because to have that bridge as an opportunity and then just be like, nah, we already got this guy. And then the fact that they ended up dubbing over the guy they got anyway, just blows my mind. Because only people and that led to Bill Mumy not even wanting to cameo at that point as any kind of handing of the baton. So the only ones who actively said no to cameoing were him and Jonathan Harris, the original Dr. Smith, because he was offended that he wasn't offered the role of Smith, because to him he is the end all be all of that character. That's him. That's his character. He doesn't think anyone else should be it. Which is unfortunate, because I know they wanted him to play the guy who hired Gary Oldman and then betrays him.
That would have been a good way to use him.
It would have been a really brief cameo. He'd be a hologram head, and he would have gotten 4 lines of dialogue, and that's it. But he declined to participate because he didn't get to be.
Here's my pitch. If they had just written it completely from Penny's point of view, and like did a little bit more of like a, hey, your grandfather was a big hero. The original Professor Robinson could have been
Yeah.
the
Mm-hmm.
grandfather. And then, we could have gotten more of this feeling of, oh, Penny really is leaving all of this behind, and her brother and sister are more into this than she is, and all this other, like, I think there is a real kernel of
Yeah.
something here that, had they had better people working on it, they could have salvaged it.
I feel
You
like
know,
I
this
think
but
movie has a lot of really strong parts to it. It has a lot of really great parts, but the glue holding them all together is a little light. And like you could even see, like this is director Stephen Hopkins who was on this, who did not a whole lot, honestly. Like he did Elm Street 5 for New Line, so they like him because that's one of the better Elm Street movies. He did Predator 2. He did Ghost in the Darkness. All great films, at least to me, because I love schlock and creature features. So Ghost in the Darkness is up there for me, as is Predator 2. But then he did this, and this was probably his last big blockbuster film as a director. Like he did a couple smaller things after this over the years. He still works here and there, but like for the most part, this is like the last big hurrah for his directorial career. Because after this tank, they weren't hiring him, and the whole script is everyone's favorite Akiva Goldsman, who writes everything.
Oh,
Yeah.
wow.
You talk about wanting to get into Star Trek's territory. Well,
Batman Forever and Batman and Robin, which hadn't released yet by the time they were filming this, they hired him for Lost in Space. I mean, he went on to do plenty of other stuff over the years, but like he essentially knocked this out and then Batman and Robin in the same year. So I can't really imagine he was in a great headspace putting this movie together.
Yeah.
Speaking of Batman and Robin, I did feel a very like a kinship between these movies because of how tight those spacesuits were. Whose decision was it to put those very tight and defining spacesuits on children?
Yeah, because like they're gonna be frozen for 10 years and stuff, but like you gotta figure, what if they measured them for that suit and then the kid hit puberty before they launched? Like, what do you do in that scenario? That thing's not gonna grow. It barely breathes. Like it's so uncomfortable.
I mean, they're in cryo freeze. They're not growing.
Oh, I know that, but I mean, like, God forbid they like measured him and they're making the suits and stuff, and then the kid hits puberty the week before. He can have a growth spurt, and then they're stuck, and they got to start all over. Like,
same question about the production of the film, though. Like, what a bold choice to tailor those freaking suits for these kids.
Yeah.
Ugh.
Yeah.
I mean, they literally had to cut Matt LeBlanc out of his in the movie. Like, not even like on
in the movie. Yeah.
They had to cut him out of it because it was just like they weren't getting him out of it otherwise. They had to chop it open to bust him out. And that's
we haven't dug into Gary Oldman really yet, right?
I love him so much in this. And
if it wasn't for the robot and the betrayal, Gary Oldman's Dr. Smith would have been in Rocket Man with Harlan Williams. That's what that movie would have been. I love Rocket Man. Rocket Man is very funny.
What, Bill Sadler?
Rocket Man was...
No, I'm saying he would have been the Bill Sadler role in Rocket Man. Is that what you're saying? Yeah.
Oh, yeah.
Because Bill Sadler rules in that movie. I love Bill Sadler so much. He is what's the word here? He deserves so many more flowers than he gets as an actor.
Sure. Absolutely. But I mean, just like he would have been left alive while everyone was cryogenically frozen. He would have been.
Sorry, I thought you were saying like that was his other project he could have done. Which I mean, good. No, that's what I meant. Like, what would you have been the Bill Sadler role? Because I thought you meant like he was going to do that movie, but they got him for this instead. And Gary Oldman.
It was around the same time.
Yeah, it was not too far off. But I get what you're saying now.
97. Yeah.
Yeah, and I get what you're saying, and that does make sense a little more now. But I love everything Gary Oldman does here. He is just slimy from the get-go. And Like
Yep.
he
Sure.
even says himself, like during the sequence on the Proteus, where he's just like, evil
Evil
recognizes
knows
evil.
evil. Yeah.
Yeah, and I love that because he doesn't even try to have redeeming qualities. He's just a creep from start to
No.
finish. And I again, just me doing my digging. He was going through uh, early stage sobriety at that point, and he did this movie because he wanted to do a
Oh,
movie that his kids would be able to watch because he always does all those everything that was rated R, all these dark performances. So he's like
right.
getting sober and trying to do a family film at the same time. So like you can just see it in his performance that he is struggling, and I don't mean that like in
Mhm.
a bad way. I mean like it shows through. Like he picked the right time to do exactly this because like he just you can
Yeah.
feel it in him that he is just exasperated the entire movie, and that's what Smith needs to be because he is literally stuck, stranded, nowhere where he wants to be, with people he can't stand. He is constantly reminding everyone he's the smartest person in the room, but he's also a giant dickbag, and he tried to kill all of them recently. So like, there's not really much reason to keep him alive other than the knowledge that he has, so he has to keep reminding them that he has it so they don't kill him.
Yeah, every good thing that came from Dr. Smith came from Oldman's performance because the writing
Oh,
was like
Yeah.
super weak. I mean, like when they were trying to establish that that he knew them before, that he was like their family
Yeah.
physician or whatever. When they were like, "You tried to kill us, we trusted you," I was like, "When did that
Well,
happen?
he
Why
yeah.
did you trust him?" Like, I thought he was just the
he was the
assassin
base
at that point.
physician for the mission, so he was the one doing all of their
Mm,
tests to make sure they were physically capable to go on this journey. So that's
yeah,
like that's his whole role.
but
His role was essentially make sure they're good to go to even be going anywhere.
mhm. I just think that was that it wasn't like I had to
Yeah.
read
I
that
mean, the
to
movie
understand that.
was
And
topped to crap in editing. Like they had so
Yeah.
much more stuff
yeah.
that got trimmed down and cut out, and it's still like a way longer movie than it should be. But it's got a lot
Was
of
it
sequences that were cut. I feel like
was it meant to be two movies? Do we know?
I don't think it was meant to be two movies. I just think that they were trying to go much bigger than they ended up going, and they kept what they wanted to keep. But like I know there was apparently a lot more to do on that planet than we ended up seeing. Like apparently
It felt like it.
the time bubbles were originally going to be something with there were going to be more of them, so they were going to go through like layers of these bubbles, and each one was going to have a different climate. So it was going to be like, and they're
Mm.
crash landed on the icy part where it's all cold and shitty, and then they were going to be like in like a monsoon almost, and then they end up where they end up, where it's almost like like a desert, but also a swamp somehow.
Yeah,
Where
the swamp desert thing. Yeah.
yeah, and it's like conceptually, I think that's really interesting. And they built all the sets and filmed a bunch of this stuff, but they cut all of it. And that's just between that and the 8 foot Blark puppet. It's just really hard to forgive how much this movie hit the cutting room floor because I see what they made and I can see what they tried to do, and that I love that for both nostalgia purposes and because it is just such a cheesy movie. But generally, just knowing what they could have done, like I would really love to see the shooting script for this
Hmm.
and just to see what we
Oh
could
God.
have had versus what we ended up with.
Well, and it's also I don't know about you, but speaking of Gary Oldman specifically, like comparing this movie to The Fifth Element, which came a year after,
Mhm.
like it's so different in quality of performance and quality of effects, because we also talking about practical
Mhm.
effects in Fifth Element, like all of that stuff was in camera for the most part.
Yeah.
So yeah, it's just really interesting to see the two against one another when one has clearly a stronger grasp of the vision from the start, and the other is trying to set up a franchise, but clearly getting bogged down in all sorts of production hell and studio interference.
Yeah. I mean,
It's really just
they were literally filmed back to back, I think, because I know Lost in Space dropped in April '98, and then Fifth Element dropped in October same year. So they were literally like, he went from one to the other. So maybe he just saved all the gas for Fifth Element.
I mean, Denis Villeneuve is going to
Maybe.
do that to you.
Yeah, no, I understand the logic. I just seeing what Gary Oldman was doing at that point in his career, but he was also trying to like reestablish himself again, trying to make sure he found that stable footing and that he still could carry that career now that he was trying to do it sober.
Yeah. Well, and it might be that Fifth Element was his last sober, or his last before he started, treatment or whatever.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, I don't know where he was in his life from one production to the next, but it's definitely,
I don't know the timeline
see
on
the change.
when they filmed. But like, you could definitely see something there in him throughout both of those films. That is just, there's a dark, especially in this one, there is a darkness there that he doesn't seem to carry in the Fifth Element.
Yeah, the Fifth Element.
Maybe it's because Dr. Smith was so bad at murder. Like, he throws Smith off a cliff, doesn't check that he died. He throws Dr. Robinson off the cliff, doesn't check if he died. Just very bad at murder.
It was adult Will Robinson. He threw him into a giant blender and missed. Like, how are you so bad at this?
Like, and then he turned into a spider monster.
Well, he was he was a giant spider monster at that point.
Yeah.
And I love that it's funny because he started off as just this devious slime bag guy. And as he became a spider, he just leaned into, I'm just going to be full camp now. And he went just Shakespearean with that shit. And I love it. Like, he just leaned into as cheesy as he could possibly be, monologuing all over the place, answering all the questions. He did his big villain speech when called out for, hey, I think you actually murdered our whole family. He's like, yeah, whatever. What are you going to do?
Yeah, prob.
Like, he's like, it took you 30 years, but you got me. Like, and like, he had all these years living with him. He never once questioned it until just then. He's like, wait a second.
Also, Will Robinson's a genius. How did it take him 30 years to come to that
because he's like his father. He's just got his head down in his work.
Sure. But like, I think you nailed it there with the camp, because like that's really what the movie was missing, and it took way too long.
Yeah, because the original show was all camp.
Like,
it was very cheesy, very campy, and like, that's 60s sci-fi TV. Of course, it's going to be cheesy and campy. It's great, and the movie effectively traded all of that camp for shiny late 90s future aesthetic, which I love.
Yeah.
Shiny late 90s curvy smooth future aesthetic. Like that is like the Windows Media Player look, as I call it. Like that aesthetic is my sweet spot. I live for that shit. And this movie just leaned into it. And you know what? I can probably credit this movie with why I love this shit so much. Because I love that awful smooth what was it? The Sony. It wasn't Walkman. It was like that other thing they had, the mini disc player with the big alien head guy. Those
the Discman, wasn't it?
It was a Discman. But it was like
I think so,
or something. It was just everything that was going on with that aesthetic was exactly my vibe, and it's probably because this movie leaned into it so hard. And then the score, which was also phenomenal. They had the amazing, iconic theme song from the original series turned into a techno remix for the closing credits of the film, but then they didn't bother to use the original theme in any other aspect of the movie. They used it in the end credits with the techno remix, and then they used that exact techno remix in every single ad and trailer for the film. But then that theme song was nowhere to be found in the film itself. They had a complete original score, which ended up going way harder than it had any right to in comparison. Like, I really liked Bruce Broughton did a lot of heavy lifting with it. And it's funny because the original score was done by John Williams, like the original score for the show that they kept in the remix. So it's funny, you have something so iconic and so on brand right there, and they're like, nah, Let's do something else entirely. And I thought it just nailed everything.
It does, though, again, indicate how much they couldn't decide whether this needed to be a bridge to the old series or something of its own. Like they waffled so much on that they didn't hit either mark.
Exactly.
Which is too bad.
Which is probably why it flopped as hard as it did. Like it showed up. It was one of those things where people either loved it or hated it. There is very little in between. There's a lot of people who saw it and just sort of shrugged, and they're like, "Yeah, sir, guess it was a movie." But there's that very small, dedicated fan base of like 12 of us who really loved the movie.
Hey, everybody who was 10 in 1998, like that's.
And it's funny because like they had all this stuff planned. They had like waves upon waves of like toys and products. They made that. They made a toy of that pistol that has all the clip-on attachments to make it a rifle. They made what's called
was it a Nerf thing? Am I remembering correctly? They had a Nerf gun version of that.
Yeah, it had all the attachments to turn the pistol into the rifle and everything, and it came with the dog tags and a belt attachment, so you could carry all the parts on your belt and have it as a pistol, and then rip them all off the belt to assemble the rifle. And it was the coolest thing. It was so cool. I saw one in Chinatown in Philly a few years ago, new in the box, and I just like couldn't justify $200 for it. Because you'll find it with all the parts. Yeah.
Sure.
It's don't think I wasn't tempted because of all the people who would spend $200 on that. It's probably me.
Of course.
But it was also kid scaled, so like if it was adult scaled, no question would have bought it. But it's too small. I bought what did I buy? I bought a 12-inch like PVC figure from like Applause. If you remember Applause from the 90s, they made like those like hollow plastic vinyl figures of everything. And then they made all those mini PVC figures. But I bought like a giant, like 12-inch tall Don West figure recently because I'm that person who buys shit on eBay. And it still had the tags on it, and I keep debating sending in the thing to redeem for the free CD-ROM.
Hilarious.
I'm like, you think that video is still there if I mail this?
It's just one guy in the office
sitting there. He's like, "No,
thank God, I finally got one."
He hits the buzzer like it's the Ghostbusters effect. Like,
Yep.
They finally can mail out the last copy of this godforsaken thing that's kept them all there.
Oh my God.
Free.
My mission is
now,
complete.
We have to talk about the science.
Do we?
Because there were times when they were... I mean, we don't have to, but we probably should. Using the hyperdrive to go through the sun sounds like a terrible idea to me. Like,
I mean, they did it twice.
Why?
They used the hyperdrive to go through the sun, and then at the end of the movie, they're like, "We're gonna go through the planet and use its gravity to slingshot us back into space." And I'm like, "Is that all you've got, man? Like, you've got one strategy?"
Using it to go through the breaking apart planet makes more sense to me than going through the sun. Because if you just go through the core of the sun, you're going to
go really, really, really fast, according to them. So, I mean,
yeah,
I get the logic of what they did there, because that wasn't even science. That was just Matt LeBlanc pulling the dumb luck card because he's a hotshot maverick. His whole thing was, it can launch us to anywhere in space, but it won't put us right here. So, I mean, logistically, it kind of makes sense from a stupid point, but that's where Don West comes in. Is this, he makes the rash decisions of like, the scientist isn't going to come up with that. That's going to be the guy who doesn't know what he's talking about. Is going to be like, let's try this.
And that was the voice of the screenwriter shining through.
Yep. The plot says they need to get out of here. So the science expert that they had on staff probably was like, you put things close to gravity and makes them go faster. And the writer was like, yep, got it. Gravity go faster.
Well, yeah.
It's like in Jay and Silent Bob Strikes Back where Wes Craven is just counting money. and she's just like, "Can I get a cut, Wes?" Whatever, Shannon.
But that's exactly it, though. They're just like, yeah, wouldn't we burn up going through there? But then it's like, no, you don't understand. They're going very fast.
Very fast in a spaceship.
Yeah, very, very, very fast. In a spaceship, it'll be fine. Some won't even notice they were there. So,
yeah,
that's the logic of the here.
Notoriously inattentive.
I want someone to apply this logic to the next Fast and Furious movie.
I'm still,
if they don't do it in the next one, it'll be the one after that. Like they're
broken.
They're at that point
because they didn't call the 10th one Fast 10 Your Seatbelts.
Right. Well, they still got time because it's not even on the schedule.
They did Fast X already, so now it's going to be
Fast X was not 10.
What?
Yeah. The next one is
they're on 11.
One. No, they're not.
I swear.
I don't think they are.
Yeah, they did Fast and the Furious, Too Fast, Too Furious. Tokyo Drift is 3. Then they did The Fast and the Furious, which was 4 because they just rebooted it by saying "the" in front of it. Fast 5.
Yeah.
Fast 6.
Fast 5.
Fast and the Furious 7. Fast 8. Fast 9.
No, one of them.
Sorry,
Fate of the Furious was 8.
Of the Furious for 8. And then they did Fast 9 and Fast X. That's 10.
Oh no, you're right. Yeah. Okay.
And I
they could still
Fast
do it.
Forever is the next one.
Yeah, because it's supposed to be the last one. Didn't they go to space already? I think they were going to space in one of the last.
They did
ones.
go to space.
I haven't watched. I was doing
go to space, yes.
a live tweet of these movies before Twitter shut down, and I fell off like halfway through the 5th one because I got busy and just didn't get back to it. But I'd never watched any of them until like a year or two ago, and it boggles my mind that we are still in a day and age watching this franchise that is one of the biggest film franchises of all time at this point financially. And the whole thing launched from a movie about stealing DVD players. Like, that's the concept here. Is like the whole thing is built on the shoulder of physical media mattering.
Got out of hand so fast. I have actually not seen any of them, and I would love to go on that odyssey.
Yeah, no.
Just watch the third one. It's the best one.
Is one of the best ones from my experience with it. The third, Tokyo Drift, ruled. And Too Fast, Too Furious was a lot of fun, but mostly because Luda showed up. And I fell off halfway through 5 just because I got busy and I just didn't care enough to go back. But I didn't hate them. They were stupid fun for what they are. But we are very off topic. And until they do a time travel movie, then we can't get into this.
Listen, there's still time. They're developing 4 different TV shows.
Time to
Peacock. So,
hey, let's pitch it. They might go.
Well, oh man! Now that we're on the topic of time travel, the time travel mechanism.
Two time, two travel.
But
there it is.
Or two party.
There it is. That's the title. 2-time 2 party. That's our companion podcast. Available soon.
Sounds like a plan. I love it.
But now that we're on the topic of time travel, the time travel mechanism of Lost in Space, there isn't really a mechanism. I mean, Will Robinson figures it out somehow.
It's tricky because like they mention it in the very beginning of the movie and then just expect you to piece it all together as you go. Which is fine. I actually liked that they didn't just lean into it hard. I like the fact that they went through this thing. They were like, what the hell was that? And then suddenly they find the Proteus and they're like, why is everything working so well? Like, this is a really old ship and everything's working way better than our stuff.
Why does that guy look so old?
Yeah, it like looked old, but it was all more advanced than what they had, is what I'm saying. So like he found the robots inside. They're like, well, it's like a fancier version of the robot we have. It's way more advanced, but it's still really old and dusty, and I don't understand that. And then they had what the hell is this?
The log from his buddy.
Yeah, the blog from his buddy Jeb, who was from the guy from The Walking Dead, Lenny James.
Uh-huh.
Yeah,
Love
Lenny
him,
James.
but he's in this for like 2 scenes ever, and
Yeah.
you know, he's aged, he's ranked up.
One of them is he's getting
Yeah.
saved. Like, yeah, it's him
Yep.
getting saved
and
by
then
Matt
him
LeBlanc.
in a vlog trying to save Matt LeBlanc. You know,
Yeah.
he's aged and he's earned a higher military rank, and it's the whole thing is in ancient video at this point, though. So like,
Mm-hmm.
it's kind of subtle how they like pepper it in, I guess. And then they finally just like, yeah, by the way, it's time travel. That's what the bubbles are. And like, my favorite part though is that Will says this when they're on the planet. He's like, I think they might be time anomalies. And his dad just shrugs it off and is like, nah, that's not what this is.
Yeah.
We're going in there. And he just ignores it. And then he goes in there and he's like, oh shit, the kid was right. And he's like, here.
And that could have been something that the mom could have been like, if you were paying attention to his
Yeah.
science fair project.
Because that's her whole character. It's just to like,
You know?
I feel bad because like Mimi Rogers didn't do anything wrong. She just, her whole role is written to be like
Right.
the stern wife who's just frowning in the background at everything everyone else is doing.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
Like she's just like
It's like,
Marge Simpson in the background. Like,
that's what I was gonna say. Yeah.
I wonder if that was part of the
Homie.
cutting, if like there was more to her
I
that just didn't make it into the final film.
I would absolutely hope so, because like she's fine. She's great in this for what she does, but she doesn't get a lot to do, and it's unfortunate because
Yeah.
the cast here, as much as like a lot of it was kind of stiff, you can leave a lot of that to the writing. And
Oh, for
I feel like the cast here was really well put together for what they are. I mean, the fact of the matter is, you're going to have 3 characters who are supposed to be children, and I believably look at those kids and say, yeah, I can believe those 2 came from those, or those 3 came from those 2. Also, random tangent, but if this guy is so buried in his work that he can't pay any mind to his kids, how does he even have 3 kids? Like, how does that happen?
Yeah.
Full credit to Maureen Robinson on that one. She's
I
like,
mean,
no.
That makes sense.
She's like,
Yeah,
she put it on
yeah.
the schedule.
That's awful because you know exactly how it happened.
It's a GCal invite. Oh, okay.
Oh, business.
He puts on a different lab coat for that.
Or rather, he doesn't put one on, and it's how he gets
Uh-huh.
gets the lab coat.
That's how you know.
He puts on the spacesuit, but it's crotchless.
Ooh.
No. He puts on the spacesuit, and then when it's time, it just is like, and it.
Yep.
Just retracts the helmet from around his waistline.
There it is.
Oh my god.
That's how it's done.
Has anyone done the porn parody of this
think
version yet?
There was a
Because
budget for that.
we could
Too many
probably
children
do
in
it.
this movie for a porn parody, I think.
Yeah.
I hope.
Well, you just cut the 2 children, and then you leave Matt LeBlanc and
That's
Heather
fair.
Graham.
That's fair.
Yeah.
And all right, before we get too far into the porn parody of this, the big question, and I think I know Jordan's answer, is Lost in Space worth your time?
I mean,
Jordan.
I'm gonna say massive yes, but that's also because I have a never-ending love for this super cheesy movie. It's not a good movie, but based on the episode 2 that we're about to get into, I'd say it's the perfect candidate for something like to watch with your friends drunk, or a little in other manners, or something to watch like late at night when you're tired and there's nothing on and you're just trying to find something to sort of fall asleep to. It's really cheesy and fun, and it's just, there's so much to love about this movie, even though it is so terrible.
Ansel, what do you think?
Yeah, I think it's worth your time. I mean, go in knowing what it is. Like, it's, you know, it's a movie from 1998 that had some compromises, but like, I think it's got a lot of redeeming qualities as well. Like, it's fun to watch. It's got some interesting time travel and sci-fi conceits that I don't think you saw again until the early 2000s, mid 2000s. Like, we don't see a lot of starfighter business in the late 90s. So yeah, I think with some caveats, this is worth your time.
I think it's very rare when I say something is not worth your time, because usually I will find the good in the movie, like where it's fun and all that. But I think it comes down to just not being as campy as the original. You know, like if they had just leaned into it a little bit more, I could forgive a lot. Like the bad script and like, because the practical effects are so good. Like clearly Henson worked on it. But then, you know, you have other special effects that are computer generated that just like do not look great even for the time, you know. So I mean, unless you are going into it being like, we're getting very drunk to watch this, I don't know if you need to be watching this
And
with a
that's
clear
fair.
head.
I think, just as a counterpoint, I would pitch that it doesn't have the same 60s camp that you'd expect, but it does have that certain time capsule of 90s Y2K hopeful future, like smooth future, that's a different level of camp in a completely different way. Like, this movie couldn't have happened anywhere else in the 90s than in the 90s. But I think my girlfriend said it best, where she saw like all of 10 minutes of this with me, and she said, Matt LeBlanc's in this? And her takeaway was, this looks like a movie Joey Tribbiani would be doing.
Yeah.
Yes.
That is probably
much
the best recommendation I could give it. It's exactly that. It looks like the kind of movie that would cast Joey Tribbiani.
Yeah, pretty much. There you have it, party people. You need a recommendation. That's about as good as it's going to get. But lucky you, we're still going to be talking about this movie for the rest of the month. So it's going to be great. We're ready to have some fun here. But you know, if you want to talk about it some more, you can find us on the internet. I'm at Silverio20 on a bunch of stuff that may not be relevant anymore.
Yeah, no, everyone can find me everywhere. I am at Jordamus_Prime. Literally every single website or social media contact everywhere. I somehow managed to get it. Unless they don't allow an underscore, that's the same thing every single place. Since, like, I don't know, 2007, probably. So going on 20 years of Jordamus Prime at this point. And also, I think, as that guy Jordan in a few places.
Okay.
So that's about it.
I am at the Indecisionist on all of the Meta properties and Blue Sky, as well as some other platforms that I probably didn't post at, but you can find me there. So feel free. If you can find me, you can find me. You can also find this show and all of our other shows at indecisionist.com.
If you're still on a platform that uses hashtags, you can use the hashtag time2party. That's time with the number 2 party.
Special thanks to April Moralba for our podcast art, and to Marlon Longid of Marlon and the Shakes for our amazing theme song. This has been an Indecisionist production.
Yes, and if you have not had enough of Lost in Space, we're coming at you next week with some party favors to ease in to your viewing. So desire. So, party people, we'll catch you next time. Party people, we'll see you next time. Be excellent to each other.
And party on, dudes.
Pew, 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 pew.